feels like they have kind of a chance to get into the playoffs. And there's tier number 3 of basically, teams that are looking forward to next year. Let's just put it that way. I think we will start with tier number 3 and kind of get these not great teams out of the way. Let's talk about them, get them over with. So, at number 32, I don't think many people will ever be surprised by this one. But right here, at 32, we do have the Panthers. They are just in trouble. Their QB is injured. They're forced to play Bryce Young. They just have a lot of issues there. And now it's looking like they're going to trade Deontay Johnson, the one bright spot that they've had. They're at 32. I don't think it's much of an argument. The rest of the way, though, you could argue that you could switch some of these teams around. But the next one is right here, the Titans. At 31, they're in trouble. They need a new QB, and they need a new backup QB. But now they got blown out by the Lions this week, but that was kind of a weird game. A lot of special team stuff, a lot of big plays, and it was just awful outing for them. And they're at 1-6. Panthers, by the way, are at 1-7, right ahead of them. I feel like I could move this team up a little bit after last week's win, but who knows? We got the Patriots right here. At number 30, Drake May. Hopefully he's all right. Got concussion issues. We're gonna see what happens with him, but they're not very good right now. But they at least showed some fight in their most recent matchup, so that's pretty good for them, being at 30. Ahead of them, I do have the Las Vegas Raiders. Yes, right there. At number, 29? Yes. They have some issues as well. They need a QB for the future. Aiden O'Connell, Gardner Minshew, not those guys. I will say they played pretty well against the Chiefs, but that just usually happens. These divisional matchups, they end up being decently close sometimes. They even took them down last year, which was pretty crazy. So, at number, 28? Jaguars, another team that, at 2-6, they're not looking at doing much this year. It's just pretty disappointing. They just paid their quarterback a lot of money. They threw a bunch of money at some receivers, drafted a rookie in the first round. But they still have some issues. They still have a lot of issues. It helps to have your main running back there, but Tank Bigsby seems alright, so not too bad. But yeah, they got some issues on defense as well, but they even, kind of like the Raiders, they had a pretty close one with the Packers, but that's the NFL. Like, you got these bottom teams that can still put up a fight, so it's pretty good. It's good for them, that's for sure. So, yep, that's the Jaguars. And then we have the Browns right here at 2-6. A lot of 2-6 teams that you could probably shift around, but I'd say the Browns are not one of the worst ones. They have decent defense still. Not as good as last year, but it seems like Winston, decent enough backup to get the job done, but they're in a weird spot. They moved on from Amari Cooper, but he had 1 year left. But they're really just in rebuilding mode and, looking ahead to next year. But they are screwed with their QB situation, that's for sure. And my next one, Giants. Yeah, they're just not quite there. Not quite in the playoff hunt. They're at 2-6, but hey, they put up a fight against the Steelers. I'll give them that. All these teams put up fights. It's good. It's good for the league. When even the lowest of the low are challenging teams and even getting wins. You got the Browns, Patriots, all getting W's. So it's great. But Giants close one with the Steelers. But I don't know. They got some nice pieces going forward. The defense actually looks pretty good. Might have to look for another QB for next year. Daniel Jones, tough pick to end the game, unfortunately. But yeah, and then ahead of them, I have Or sorry, oh wait, oh, I'm supposed to put the Saints up in there. That is an error. Making errors here. Yeah, so we have the Saints here. I was like, I'm looking at the team above them is the Jets. And I'm like, wait, where are the Saints? Because, they're certainly not in that above category. The Saints are interesting because beginning of the year, I thought I was insane. I thought it was crazy when they were winning. I know one of them was the Panthers, but I thought I was crazy because this team was just dominating. And I was like, no, this team sucks. And it kind of took them losing their QB for that to be realized. So I wouldn't say I'm 100% right, but it's not surprising to see them where they're at. But then we have the Jets, the last team that, actually at 2-6. I'd say of all the 2-6 teams right here, of all these bad teams, I'd say they have the best chance. They have the most talent, but they have severe problems. Their quarterback is not what he used to be, and they clearly have problems with the coaching staff. So heading up to the next tier, these are really teams that, you know what, maybe I should go to the playoff teams. Let's go to the playoff teams. We're going to go up to 14 and count down. So, yeah, I like that. At number 14, I have right here, tough loss for them over the weekend, but I got the Chicago Bears. I got them as looking like a top team and in the playoffs. Well, depends how many NFC teams are ahead of them, but at 4-3, they look pretty good. Yeah, really tough one against Commanders, but the defense is good. They slowed down that high-powered offense, and they're just solid. They're just solid. Maybe not Caleb's best game, but then they had a good drive at the end to give him a chance. So that's, a tough loss, but that was a good game for them because they didn't play that well and, were able to do something at the end and ultimately lost because they got a little unlucky. So up next, right here, 49ers. I have them at the 13th spot. Speaking of unlucky, the Ayuk, he's gone. He's gone for the year. But they do have plenty of talent just waiting. So yeah, they're at 4-4. McCaffrey's got to come back at some point, but it seems like they keep, finding these running backs, and whoever they put out there ends up being pretty solid. So I got the Niners still finding a way. 4-4. That's very manageable. I guess they have a bye week this week as well, so they'll be fine. I do think they'll be fine. They're playing pretty well. And then ahead of them, this team, I can't believe, I just can't believe they're up here. But the Broncos, I got the Broncos getting to the playoffs. They're a 5-3 team. Crazy, absolutely crazy. Bo Nix has been great, and they gotta play the Chiefs again at some point, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. But Bo Nix, he's been good, and Sean Payton shows he's still got it. I just don't even think their roster's that great. I think the defense is solid, but the offensive weapons are just nothing special, and they still put up points. They still get the job done. So crazy stuff, crazy good stuff going on there. Above them, we have the Eagles. Got some problems with coaching, but I think they're going to be able to overcome it with all the talent that they have. So we'll see what happens with them. But yeah, Jalen Hurts, really good game over the weekend, and Eagles are sitting in a pretty good spot. They're definitely looking at the playoffs and feeling good. They are, what are they, 5-2? Yeah, so they're definitely feeling good. I feel like they're kind of like the Chiefs, where it doesn't seem like they've played their best football, but they still have a really good record. So above them is actually a team that took them down. Where are you at? The Falcons right here. Yeah, Falcons. Kirk Cousins, he's getting it done. He's really, he's locked in Atlanta. They had a slow start to the year, but they are really playing well. It's just, yeah, I thought the Bucks win. What a great win that was. I mean, it just knew it was going to be high scoring. They could use some pass rush though. They got no pass rushers. They got the 7th pick. They got Michael Penix. They could have got Jared Verse. I don't know. but unfortunately the Matt Judon trade not working out too well. They just haven't done as well, getting pressure on other QBs, unfortunately. So, but still overall, very good team, that's for sure. Right above them, we have the Vikings. We have the Vikings sitting at, what is this? At number 9. Not too bad. Maybe it's a little high. I don't know if they'll finish up this high by the end of it, but tough loss to the Rams. But the Rams, they got their full firepower back just in time to play the Vikings, so that's tough luck. A little bit of unluckiness going on, but I think they're going to be okay. Still see them finding a way to the playoffs. They're 5-2 right now. But yeah, number 9, I don't know if they'll be this high by the end of the year. I think they might end up dropping just a little bit. Seems like they kind of drop a few spots every week. Although I haven't been doing these, so it's like a mental, my mental power rankings, they've been dropping over the past few weeks, but it's alright. Ahead of them, we got the Steelers at that number 8 spot. They're playing really well. Defense looks really good. And Russ is good enough. It's crazy. They had Justin Fields out there. They had Russell Wilson out there. They both look solid enough to carry. But Russ, didn't look great with the Broncos. He looked a little washed there, but he's a little bit back to himself now. So Steelers, that defense, Mike Tomlin, is always good. They're always good. It's crazy. Packers seem to be in that conversation as well. They're just always good. And part of that starts with the QB position, being able to switch over to Jordan Love. It's pretty huge, but he didn't even play the whole game. They still have, they got Malik Willis, who's able to come in and actually looks decent. He just never looked good in previous years, so even he's getting better. It's good they traded for him at the beginning of the year, or else they'd be throwing Sean Clifford out there. But Josh Jacobs, absolute tear this weekend. He was crazy. They got a good squad, a lot of good receivers. Defense is crazy good. They're just a really good squad, and we're just at that point where we're looking at all these top teams in the league where they got so much good stuff going on both sides of the ball. The Texans are right above them. They're another team just like that. C.J. Stroud. So many weapons on offense. Joe Mixon has a solid week. They have a good defense. Just good stuff going on for them. I'm trying to remember who they played over the week, but they got the Jets on Thursday. But I can't even remember who they played this weekend. But doesn't matter. They got a nice win. Completely blanking on who they played. Doesn't matter. Alright, so ahead of them, Texans are really good. We get it. Ahead of them, we have the Ravens. Tough loss to the Browns, but Derrick Henry, Lamar Jackson, that's scary. That's scary no matter what. And they got good enough receivers as well. Mark Andrews seems to be returning to form. So that's good. And Zay Flowers, has good big games when they need it. And defense hasn't been as good as last year, at least. Still plenty of time for them to pick it up, but they just, I don't know specifics, but they got problems. They can't stop anybody, which is not what we've been used to with their defense. So, but they still, honestly, still first half of the season, I could easily see them kind of figuring out by the end. But as of right now, defense is looking shaky. The Commanders, probably not the best defense out there either, but they're definitely better this year than advertised. And same with the offense, just absolutely insane what they've been able to do. And that Hail Mary, is a lot of luck. But, this is just what these good teams do. This is what talented teams do. They stay in it. They put themselves in situations and give themselves the opportunity to get lucky. And sometimes that's what winning is. I mean, you got these super close games. Sometimes it just comes down to a play or two. And, all you can do is just, in anything really, just you ask for the opportunity because you never know what you can do with the opportunity. And the Commanders had an opportunity to throw a Hail Mary, and Jane Daniels took that seriously. He scrambled around. The players were all in the right position, and they got lucky. But that's the funny thing is that's how they drew it up. You're not throwing a Hail Mary to not convert it. They went into this, they had a game plan, and it worked, even if it doesn't work often. Ahead of them, at number 3, I got the Bills. Commanders were at 4. We got the Bills right here. Josh Allen is him. James Cook, crazy good weekend from him. Defense is solid. And the receivers, which, kind of was the worry beginning of the season, well, they traded for Amari Cooper. They drafted Keon Coleman. He looks solid enough. Dalton Kincaid looks like he's a decent enough number 3. Khalil Shakir even had a good game. Seems like they have the talent. They're going to be a really scary team come playoff time for sure. That's why I got him at number 3. At number 2, might have some controversy with this one, but I still have the Lions at 2 behind the Chiefs. The Lions look crazy good. Even with, injuries, guys out, whatever, they don't have Hutchinson rest of the year, so that hurts, but they're crazy good. Goff has been on a tear. He's been super efficient and just making plays. And I do have the Chiefs at that number 1 spot. It feels like their defense is crazy good, and the offense has been solid enough. Kelsey was good over the weekend, but they still have room to grow, and that's what's scary because they're still undefeated, and it doesn't even feel like they've played that well. But the Lions, you could go either way. Either way with these ones at 1 and 2, I wouldn't be mad. So that's the top tier, and then the middle tier here. These are all teams that I believe, could make their way into the playoffs if they continue to play well. The Chargers, it's a chance they figure it out and can get into the playoffs. What's their record? I believe they're at 4-4. Let's see, 4-3. Okay, yeah, so they're playing well. Lad McConkey's been crazy good. And, Herbert's been sacked, but line isn't great, but Joel looks pretty solid. Up next, nice win over the weekend for this team over, a Dolphins team. The Cardinals were able to get the win over the Dolphins, who, haven't had a great year, but they had Tua back for this week, so they knew they would be scary, but they were able to get the job done. I mean, they got Kyler playing well, James Conner's playing well, Marvin Harrison Jr., the rookie, on fire, McBride, we say this every week with them. They are a solid team, a solid middle-of-the-pack team, and they're definitely looking to make a playoff push. Buccaneers definitely have the offense to get there, but with some injuries and maybe the defense not being as great, definitely going to be tougher for them to make that happen. They are sitting at 4-4 right now, which is still pretty solid. Another team sitting at 4-4. The Seahawks, got them right behind them. We'll see what happens. They look decent, but they're definitely a mid-team. Don't see them making the playoffs. The Bengals are right behind them. They're at 3-5. The defense is rough. The defense is really bad. But the offensive firepower is enough to get them to the playoffs, depending on matchups. But it's going to be tough. It's definitely an uphill battle. I'd say the Rams are kind of in a similar spot. I think the Rams' defense is probably better than the Bengals, but they did lose Donald from previous years. But got their 2 studs back, Puka and Cooper. And they played well immediately, and of course you got Stafford. They're a scary team. I think if those guys stay healthy, I think they could still make a push, for sure. Speaking of health, another team that needs their QB healthy, the Dolphins. If they're going to have any chance of turning the season around, he's got to stay healthy. I think the Cardinals game was a good start. I know they lost, but is what it is. I think it was a good start having him back, and they'll probably be able to get some wins going forward, and they're definitely in the playoff race. The Cowboys have been extremely disappointing. I don't know what to think of them. I have them very low in this list, but I do think there's a way for them to turn up. They could turn it up and make a push for the playoffs, but as of right now, what are they? 3-4. Hold on. Yep, 3-4. So we'll see. That's actually not too bad. They're definitely still not. It's still very early in the season, so I don't know. Maybe maybe I shouldn't have him so low on the list. Honestly, I think I would take... Maybe I should switch it around. I feel like I would take the Cowboys over a lot of these teams. They've played so poorly. That's, I don't know. But the defense, they've been banged up, so it's just, they got issues, but I think their issues are definitely solvable, and they'll turn it around. The Colts are another team in this tier, and they are very up and down, so, and that kind of all lies on the QB. Anthony Richardson, can he stay healthy? Can he make plays? Can the receivers catch the ball, can he throw the ball? But it's just, yeah, I don't know. They're another team that's like, all right, yeah, they're right there. They got some talent. They could make a playoff push, but will they? We'll have to see. We will have to see. So, yeah, those are the power rankings.